Today, we are going to talk about why you need to stop bouncing your reps.
I've been doing things that they told me I should never do. I've been doing things that they told me I could never do now. Never do, I could never do. I've been looking back and I'm the only one who ever knew. My dreams begin to turn out.
A couple of examples of exercises where this typically occurs are things like the back squat, during calf raises, or even when you are doing barbell bench press. This often occurs when somebody is trying to lift more weight. So for the squat, for example, you'll see a lot of lifters descend into the squat and then they'll bounce their weight back up to help ensure that they are maximizing their power output. There is nothing wrong with this if the goal is to maximize your power output. So if you are a power lifter, bouncing out of the hole is a very strategic way to ensure that you can maximize your lift. But if you are an everyday gym goer where your primary goal is to focus on muscle growth, your primary goal is to maximize hypertrophy, you're actually hurting your gains even though there may be more weight on the bar. So what is happening here is when you are bouncing your reps, you are actually utilizing what is known as the stretch shortening cycle. Basically, what is happening when the stretch shortening cycle is being optimized is that during the eccentric portion of a movement, so we're going to use squats as an example, as you descend, what you are doing is that you are storing elastic energy. And then during the transition from the way down onto the way up, you are utilizing that stored energy to actually maximize the concentric portion of the movement, so to get back up. So this is very helpful for those who want to maximize their power to utilize that stored elastic energy. But when we are trying to maximize muscle growth, that energy, that ability to get back up during that concentric portion of the movement isn't actually coming from your quadricep muscles, which is what we want in order to maximize growth in that given area. So instead of using the primary muscle group that we are wanting to target, so your quads in the back squat, for example, you're actually relying on stretch reflexes in order to perform the concentric portion of the movement. Another common example here is during calf raises. So on the descent during the eccentric portion of the movement, if you are bouncing your way back up to perform the calf raise, you're not actually utilizing your calf muscles in order to perform the movement. Your body is actually relying more on your Achilles tendon in order to actually perform the movement. Not something that we want unless we're wanting to maximize our power when we're doing plyometric style training. But if we want to focus on growing our calves, we do want to ensure that we are not bouncing our way back up after the descent. So when I'm doing the back squat, for example here, a lot of people, to maximize their strength, they'll go down nice and slowly, and as they get lower and lower, they'll kind of bounce their way to get back up. And when I am bouncing to get back up, I'm not effectively using my quads, I'm not effectively using my glute muscles in order to actually maximize that strength. The stretch reflexes are doing the majority of the work. And like I said, when the goal is muscle growth, we want to really ensure that we are not relying on our stretch reflexes. So a good way to offset this is to perform pause reps. So as you are going down really slowly, once you get to your full range of motion, pause for a second and then effectively focus on using your muscles to get back up. Yeah, you know what? Maybe there's not going to be as much weight on the bar, but again, if your goal is to just maximize your muscle growth, be okay. Drop the ego, drop the weight, and do the movement correctly. So the same thing here with calf raises. You know, when people are coming all the way down and they get to the bottom, they're bouncing their way to get back up. They'll go nice and slow on the way down, and they'll bounce their way to get back up. We're utilizing our Achilles tendon there in order to actually get back up. Our calves aren't going to grow. We're not going to see those gains that we are hoping for. So instead, pause again during that transition phase. So on the way down, this is the eccentric portion of the movement. Once you get to the bottom range, pause for a second or two, and then effectively focus on pushing your way back up. Going all the way back down, once you get to the bottom, pause for a second or two, and then you can focus on actually utilizing your calf muscles during the calf raise. Another example of when you will see people doing bounce reps is during flat bench. This is another area that you want to ensure that you're being intentional with if the goal is to maximize your pectoral muscles. So by focusing on not bouncing the reps during that transition phase, during the eccentric portion, pausing for a second and then pushing the barbell back up, that's what's going to allow you to ensure that the stretch reflexes aren't doing the work, and more so your muscles that you're trying to target in the first place are actually doing the work. So essentially what is happening is that you are storing elastic energy during an eccentric portion of the movement. This is what causes your force output to be maximized during the concentric portion of the movement. So there is nothing wrong with utilizing the stretch shortening cycle if your goal is to maximize your power, if you have plyometric related goals. But again, if your goal is to maximize hypertrophy, then we want to table this for another day. So maybe just reflect for a second here and ask yourself, what are your primary goals when you are lifting weights? If it is to maximize power, great. Keep doing what you're doing. If bouncing reps is working for you to maximize that power output, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you do want to maximize hypertrophy, if you do want to maximize specific areas and grow those particular areas, then taking the weight off of the bar and really just controlling your reps on the way down and as well on the way up is going to be more effective for your long-term goals. All right, team, that's all I got for you all today. I really do hope that you found this video to be helpful. Any questions or concerns, all that fun stuff, make sure you guys leave them in the comments. And again, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I look forward to chatting with you all in the next video. Until then, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.